What if the person you loved most was also the one sharpening the knife behind your back? What if the woman who kissed you goodnight was quietly rehearsing your murder, and after the act, tried to convince the world you were the one to blame? This is not just a story of murder. It is a story of gaslighting in its purest, most destructive form. A story where lies were spun like silk, where reality itself was bent until even the victim doubted his own instincts. This is the case of Jodi Arias, June 9, 2008, Mesa, Arizona. Friends of 30-year-old Travis Alexander hadn't heard from him for days. He was a motivational speaker, a salesman, a man constantly in touch with others. Silence was not his nature. Worried, they entered his suburban home. The scene that met them was nightmare-like. His body was crumpled in the shower. He had been stabbed close to 30 times, his throat slashed from ear to ear, a bullet wound through his head. Blood stained the bathroom tiles, trailed into the bedroom, smeared across walls and carpet. Detectives arriving at the scene described it as overkill, rage, not just murder. And among the evidence, a single object would unravel everything: a digital camera found in the washing machine. On it, photos of Travis in his final moments, and, chillingly, an image of his killer, accidentally captured. Jodi Arias. Travis Alexander met Jodi Arias in September 2006 at a business conference. He was charming, ambitious, and deeply tied to his faith as a devout Mormon. She was striking, curious, and eager to please. The attraction was instant. Within days, they were inseparable, but their bond was complicated. Travis wanted to remain pure before marriage. Jodi coaxed him into secrecy, drawing him into a world of passion that clashed with his faith. This duality, devotion on the outside, desire behind closed doors, became the foundation of their relationship. A push and pull of love and guilt, intimacy and shame. Friends noticed something troubling. Jodi's attachment went beyond love. It was an obsession. She followed Travis to events, checked his phone, and eavesdropped on his conversations. Once, she slashed his car tires. Another time, she snuck into his house through the doggy door. But Jodi always knew how to apologize, how to pull him back. Gaslighting thrives on confusion. One moment she is filled with rage, the next tearful and affectionate. And Travis, like so many victims, convinced himself she could change. June 4th, 2008. Travis had plans. He was preparing for a trip to Cancun with friends. Jodi was not invited. Yet that day she drove nearly 1,000 miles from California to Arizona. She dyed her hair, turned off her phone, and slipped into Travis's home with her camera. The recovered photos tell a haunting story. At 1:40 p.m., Travis smiles in the shower. He looks playful, unaware. By 5:30, the final images show him sitting down in the shower stall, eyes filled with unease. What happened next is pieced together through blood evidence. Jodi attacked him in the shower, stabbing repeatedly. Travis stumbled into the hallway, leaving a trail of bloody handprints. He tried to crawl away. She followed. She slashed his throat. She shot him in the head. And then, she cleaned up. She dragged his body back to the shower, deleted photos from the camera, and tossed it in the washing machine. To the outside world, Travis simply disappeared. But Jodi knew. When detectives questioned Jodi, she appeared calm, almost eager to talk. She denied being in Arizona, claiming she hadn't seen Travis in weeks. But when confronted with the photos, she shifted. Suddenly she admitted being there, but claimed masked intruders killed Travis and spared her. Detectives pressed harder. The story unraveled. Finally, she claimed it was self-defense. She claimed Travis attacked her, and she fought for her life. 3 stories, 3 contradictions, each designed not to reveal truth, but to control perception. Notice her body language in these moments. She leans forward when she lies, eyes steady, voice calm. She rehearses emotion, crying without tears, smiling in moments of tragedy. This is not panic. This is performance. This is gaslighting. So who is Jodi Arias? Psychologists who studied her behavior described traits of narcissistic personality disorder, self-centeredness, lack of empathy, obsession with appearance. Her concern was never for Travis, but for how she would be perceived. There are also markers of sociopathy: manipulative lies, inability to feel guilt, charm weaponized as a tool. Even in jail, she flirted with officers, sang songs to herself, smiled for cameras. And then there's the gaslighting. At every stage, she tried to warp reality. To detectives, she wasn't there. To jurors, Travis abused her. To the public, she was the real victim. Gaslighting isn't just lying. It's creating a false world so convincing that the victim doubts their own reality. Travis Alexander was a man torn between faith and desire. His devotion to his church made intimacy with Jodi a source of shame. She exploited that guilt, using it to keep him bound to her. Victims of gaslighting often rationalize red flags. They want to believe in the best version of the person they love. Travis told friends Jodi was dangerous, yet he couldn't fully break away. Love can blind us, but gaslighting does more. It rewrites the rules until victims question themselves. Did I overreact? Did I imagine it? Maybe I'm the problem. Travis lived in that confusion until the day it cost him his life. In 2013, Jodi Arias went on trial for murder. What followed was one of the most sensational court cases of the decade. Jodi did something almost no defendant ever does. She testified for 18 days. Why? Because she believed in her ability to manipulate. She painted herself as a battered woman, spinning stories of abuse, neglect, and survival. But evidence told a different tale. The photographs, the texts, the voicemails. They showed a man manipulated, not an abusive man. The jury saw through her contradictions. On May 8, 2013, Jodi Arias was convicted of first-degree murder. Even in conviction, she couldn't let go of the image. She gave interviews from jail, spoke to reporters, and tried to reinvent herself as an artist. For Jodi, perception was always the weapon. Why did this case captivate millions? Because it touched on themes deeper than murder. It was about trust, about how easily love can turn to control, and about how society views women who kill. The media painted Jodi as a femme fatale, a seductress who weaponized beauty. But beneath the headlines was a psychological truth. Gaslighting can come from anyone, in any relationship, at any time. In the digital age, where appearances can be curated, the Arias case became a cautionary tale. Smiling photos, loving captions, charming interviews, none of it revealed the darkness underneath. Gaslighting is not just manipulation. It is a slow poisoning of reality. It makes victims doubt what they see, what they feel, what they know. Travis Alexander was not weak. He was not naive. He was human. He wanted to believe in love, even when it turned against him. Jodi Arias exploited that trust. She killed him and then tried to erase him with lies. So the question lingers. How do we protect ourselves from gaslighting? by trusting not just words but patterns, by noticing when smiles don't match situations, by questioning charm that feels too polished, too perfect. Because the next time someone tilts their head, smiles through their lies, and insists you're imagining things, you may not be imagining it at all. This was the Jodi Arias case, a story of obsession, gaslighting, and the fatal cost of deception.